Trojan Felly. What's up, man? USCJ here. It's the top of the morning. It's the top of the morning. Listen, I hope everybody is getting ready to get up, get out, and make some things happen this morning. Listen, happy Tuesday to everybody. We got a couple things on the table that we want to talk about. Look, man, I thought about something and I saw some reports coming from Ohio State, just in reference to Chip Kelly going to the Raiders now, and then other coaches moving and grooving. Now they move some other coaches to the offensive side of the ball. And so they really had me kind of thinking and really reflecting back on Lincoln Riley and how he's kind of similar, very similar to a guy like Ryan Day. We're going to talk about that. I want to get into some of that real quick because I want you guys to remember and I want you guys to reflect back that just around November, they wanted Ryan Day out of there, man. Ryan Day was getting ready to be no longer the coach for Ohio State. But before we get into that, I want to get into some of these player numbers. We got a couple player numbers that came up at the time I'm recording this. I'm sure some more coming up. A couple of these guys posted some of these up. But here, check this out, man. This is Eli Sanders, rather. He's wearing number 1. Eli Sanders, running back from New Mexico, is going to be wearing the number 1, man. We got a couple more guys we want to take a look at here as well. You got Stephen Miller right there. He's wearing number 14. You guys remember Jacoby Covington had number 14 last year. And then Jakeem Stewart, he's going to be wearing that big number 4. So those are a couple numbers. And as they continue to come out, I will give you guys those numbers. But Jakeem Stewart, big number 4, that's going to look sweet. I like that. Eli Sanders, he looks like a number 1 type of guy just because of the fact that he's a Blazer, man. That it looks good. I mean, that was, of course, you guys know that was Zachariah Branch's number on offense last year. So Eli Sanders will take over that number 14. Of course, going to Stephen Miller, is still going to be on the defensive side of the ball. So look, man, those are a couple ones that we want to talk about. But let's get into some of this Ohio State Lincoln Riley stuff, because Lincoln Riley, man, you guys know that they were calling for his job. They've been calling, and they still. Look, he's not off of the hook, compared to where Ryan Day is right now. Ryan Day has resecured that spot, but Ryan Day was in the same situation. I just want you guys to remember and reflect back. Ryan Day, after the Michigan game, was in the same situation as Lincoln Riley. And I think there are a lot of people that forget how crazy it was for Ryan Day. You guys remember even last year, he couldn't beat Michigan. And, this year couldn't beat Michigan. With all the talent, and here's the kind of comparing and contrast I want to talk about, and I'm gonna get into some of this article that I written, kind of dug up from November, and I want to talk about that article. But then I want to talk about as well. I want to ask you guys: is Lincoln Riley? Do you guys consider him a better coach than Ryan Day? And here's what I want to ask you: why? If you look at what we did to Michigan, how we played at Michigan, and how we went toe-to-toe, and really it seemed like for us it was mostly self-inflicted wounds. Like we could have won that game. Yes, we had a couple issues on the defensive end, the defensive side of the ball, and of course the interception by Miller Moss. But I really feel like USC was in a situation that they could have won that game, and I felt like, do you think Lincoln Riley had a better coach job in the Michigan game compared to what Ryan Day had? You guys remember that was a close game and a low-scoring game from an offensive output standpoint, from Ohio State standpoint. I think our final score was, 24-27 against Michigan. They lost at the end of the game. And here's the thing. I don't think you could really compare when you talk about us and them, because they bought the best team that money could buy, right? And that's no knock on them, because that's what you want to do. That's what you're supposed to do. But I think with the limited players that we had compared to what Ohio State had and the product that they put on the field against Michigan, opposed to the product that USC and Lincoln Riley put on the field with what we had, we didn't buy the best. You got to think they got Caleb Downs from Alabama. They got like 2 good players from Alabama. The quarterback, Julian Sand. You think about it, they got the running back from Ole Miss last year. They got multiple players that were just ballers. And it was no reason why they had no business losing against a team like Michigan. And so for USC to hang in there, and it wasn't just 1 or 2 games. We did this all year long with hanging in there with a lot of people. But with the players that we've had, USC had this past season, and the guys that we had still not really all the way developed, opposed to some of the players that came out of the portal for Ohio State and how they came in experienced, do you think Lincoln Riley did a better coaching job? And then think about the years prior. You guys remember, ever since Lincoln Riley has been there, he's never really had access to the resources that we have now available to us. Let me rephrase that. We've had access, but everything wasn't being organized the right way. Let me say it that way. Organized the right way and prioritized the right way. And we didn't have a general manager that could really, be able to distribute these phones the right. I said phones. Distribute these finances the right way. And so as a result, we find ourselves not able to pull the type of talent that other teams were able to pull. And you guys remember Ryan Day? I said this on several different occasions. Ryan Day got up there in the press and said, look, I need $13 million just to retain our roster. Look, USC wasn't even able to retain their roster. And I told you guys this. I had a player that just left. He went to a crazy good team. I'm not going to bring up his name, but his parent reached out to me, and he named every player that we had left, whether it was the Branch brothers, whether it was Deuce. He named all these players, and he said, Jay, he said, I'm looking at what Lincoln Riley and the team is doing right now, and it's really not so much as Lincoln Riley, but I'm looking at what the administration, Jennifer Cohen and them doing now. He said that the GM, the hire that they hired right now, he said, look, he said, this is phenomenal. He said, if these guys were in place, he said, I can promise you that we wouldn't have lost a lot of players that we've already lost. And I told you guys before, it just wasn't organized. Now we know that the burden is lifted off of USC and off of Lincoln Riley to where he can really operate as a coach. And now we're going to see a better version of Lincoln Riley. I believe the old version, and I said this on several different occasions, I believe that we're going to see the version that we saw in Oklahoma, because he didn't have to deal with all that. He didn't have the weight on his shoulders that he had last year and the year before, because he was trying to maneuver and try to cover all these different things. And so now, instead of losing guys like Quinn Joyner, Elijah Hughes, I mean, I can go on the list, Sam Green, Deuce Robinson, Zachariah Branch, all those guys. The roster retention is now going to be there this time around. It's going to be there, and Lincoln Riley doesn't have to worry about that. So not only do I think he's going to capitalize on that aspect of it, and I think for what he was working with, I thought he did a pretty decent job. Yes, we could have ran the ball more. I'm always say that and reiterate that, but I think that he was under a tremendous amount of stress, and I'm gonna tell you the kind of stress that I know he was under, man. And I'm just gonna be honest with you, man. One time, I talked to a lot of people, and they were telling me that they felt like he was under so much pressure, and I probably shouldn't say it, but I'm gonna say it. They said when he was calling a play on the sideline that he was literally shaking, man. And I believe that that's the type of stress. Lincoln Riley was under stress. I don't think people really take into account how much stress he might have really been under. But I know for a fact that he was under a tremendous amount of stress. And now we're going to see a different version and a better version. And so here's the thing. Is Ryan Day, do you consider USC and Lincoln Riley basically in the same direction as Ohio State? I say yes. And what I mean by that is a team that wasn't winning the games that they should have been winning, but now we're going to start winning the games that we're supposed to win. And not only that, I believe we're going to be a championship caliber team based on the personnel, based on the coaching staff that was put in place, and based on the stress that was lifted from a guy like Lincoln Riley, man. So you guys can hit me in the comments. You guys can tell me if you agree with that, man. But that's kind of my assessment. And I think USC is headed in the same direction as a team like Ohio State. And I want you guys to remember this, given what Lincoln Riley had to work with overall, and I'm not just talking about the players, but just being able to have the money to be able to get the players, I believe he did a pretty decent job. I think you got to look at it from that perspective, man. And you guys can hit me. You guys can tell me what you think. Drop those comments in the comment section, man. Tell me what you guys think. Look, I'm out of here, man. Happy Tuesday. That's all I got for you. And I'm going to tell you guys the same way I told you last year. It's the off season. It's essentially the slow time into springtime. I told you guys about this time last year. We're going to carry you all the way through, just like we carried you through August, man. Hey, listen, the same way we did it last year is the same way we're going to do it this year. I have absolutely know how we do it. But it's like, and those who know the Bible, there's a story in the Bible with the children of Israel in the book of Exodus. God provided for the children of Israel, with the food that really wasn't even food. It was called manna. It come from the sky, right? Come from heaven, right? And it would just fall from the sky and it would dissolve. So look, I'm saying that to say, I don't know where the content's gonna come from, but all I know is it's gonna be the same way as we did last year. We brought you the content, man. Every day we brought it to you, and it's go time. It's always go time. It's on the popping. It's on the cracking. Until later on, listen, I'm out of here, man. Happy Tuesday to everybody. Fight on, fight on, fight on.